Stars and Spikes Match Review Podcast, where we take a look back at Lady United's 5-4 loss to the Columbus Crew Saturday night at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Sitting with you, the rest of the game coming here a bit shortly as Lady United are officially eliminated from playoff contention. Pretty much before we got conclusion that they weren't going to go to the playoffs in 2025, but now it's official. They're not going to go to the playoffs 2025 by virtue of really a wild and crazy, Tyler, a wild and crazy loss to the Columbus Crew on Saturday night. And are you with us? Come off mute.
I'm working on it, man. It's been a long day.
Well, it's been a long season as well.
Yeah, it's now
it really
over,
has
officially.
It's still a few games left, but for all intents and purposes, it is over. It is done with. Tommy, we don't have to worry about Lady United making the playoffs anymore. It's done. It's done. The
over.
The time of death for a Lady United, figuratively speaking, September 13th. Stuff to talk about. We got stuff to talk about.
I didn't mean to hit that button. I meant there was a little thing and I clicked it.
What just happened, dude?
I don't know.
Well, so guys, I thought I was joining the Manning cast for the.
You're not joining the Manning cast. This is the Scarves and Spikes Match Review Podcast.
I was told I was the celebrity guest on Manning cast.
You were told wrong.
I was supposed to come in at the end of the first quarter.
Well, it would be nice if that's a very loud notification, by the way, Tyler. Or Tommy, whoever it is,
guys.
Whoever it is. I don't know what happened in the first half. I'm trying to get us all on the same page or all on one accord.
First half, not gonna lie.
they seriously did.
Yeah,
the second half too, but
yeah,
that's one of the weirdest, most bizarre first halves I've ever seen. The most infuriating, the most frustrating, the most insane first half. Really, a Lady United matches I've ever seen. Like, I don't know why I'm laughing. It's really bad. It's really bad, guys. LA United not going to the postseason.
It's bad, but it's over for the year.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like the actual meaning.
We don't have to worry about a miracle run to the playoffs.
No, I mean, but now it's like, I know we joke around about it, and like Dyla said, and he's told me the other day, but he's also said it last night. 2026 starts right now.
Yeah.
Do not put us through this next year. Don't do
it. Please. I said it. I said it to you guys. I'm Tyler Henry, who's I'm not with us for this show, but yeah, I said it. Like, that's the angriest I've ever been watching a first half run lady. You think about, and
I walked out.
You walked out of the press box out of kind of frustration, but I thought about the 2019 match where Atlanta United lost to not the Columbus Crew, the Chicago Fire 5-1. In that game, guys, you at least had Leandro Gonzalez Perez sent off in the 11th minute. So you had at least some excuse to lose 5-1, I guess. A few years back, international break, the Columbus Crew, you lost 6-1 at the Crew at Lower Delcom Field. That was during the international break. Yeah, half your team missing. Somewhat excusable, but still frustrating. I don't know. You give up 5 goals in the first half against you have players in place that you hope would improve this team, and you concede 5 times in the first half, which is absolutely embarrassing. It looked like JV versus it was men versus boys as the terminology goes as it goes in soccer. Men against boys. It's ridiculous. Like, if you're a team in MLS, that should never happen, ever. You should never give up 5 goals in the first half. It's embarrassing. It's frustrating. It's an affront to anybody who follows this team and is serious about this team. And I sent a text to you guys, and I sent a text, and I said, they quit. They just quit on each other. They quit on their coach. They quit on the fan. They quit on everybody. Like, fire him. He's going to be fired in the morning. They come back. They can 5-4. They're still eliminated, but kind of softens the blow, but still, like, if you're Atlanta United, if you want to be a team that is among the best in MLS, you can't miss the playoffs. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable. And I feel like some decisions will have to be made relatively soon if you're Atlanta United. I would think.
Yeah, I will say this. I want to know. Milan said, good thing Hendo brought in some of Ronnie's guys to turn things around. Whatever was said at halftime, I feel like should be studied and examined and should probably be said
every game
whistle.
For every game.
Yeah. I wrote about it on the website on scarvesandspikes.com. Yeah. How are they doing, by the way? I'm not able to watch these games, Tommy.
It's on NBC. Everybody can watch these games.
Well, the antenna. You can watch.
All right.
6-0 Falcons.
Let me go get out my bunny ears, put them on top of my television.
Yeah.
This is called multitasking.
Yeah. No, I wrote about it, like, recency bias. Like, the second half would tell you, oh man, they were able to turn it around. There are some positives to take out of it. And what you said, Sydney, it's not acceptable at all. And in soccer, 100%, I agree. Like, you go down 5-0 at your house within 30 minutes, and that's 5-0 that counted. That's not 5-0 the ones that didn't count.
Exactly.
Were offside.
That's
like,
a good
they hit
point.
the back of the net 6 or 7 times, maybe 6.
Yeah.
In the first half. Now, a couple of them didn't count, thankfully, but that's how bad it was. And so every team is, you're allowed a horrific game occasionally. You talk about Chicago back in 2019. That was a wild one. But, like, that one's forgivable because they had a good season. Like, if you just drop a dumpster fire,
you won a trophy that year.
Yeah, I mean, you got a trophy that year. I mean, you go back to 2018. They got dunked on 5-0 opening match against Houston.
4-0. Yeah, 4-0, but it was 4. Yeah.
Either way, doesn't matter much. It's a goal, like 4 or 5. You got dunked on, and everybody was like, "Oh boy." 2017 was a flash in the pan, and this is going to
reality set in.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it was like, hey, best team in Major League Soccer history, just about. So you're allowed that occasionally, but you don't get to have, 28 games and then 28 games of just trash and then put up a performance like that first half yesterday. That's not acceptable. Like, that's acceptable for a team that doesn't give a crap.
Yeah.
And this is not a team, like, as bad as they've been, Atlanta United actually cares, but God, like, that was really, really poor. And I'm not trying to take away from the 4 goals in the second, 3 plus the penalty at the end of the first half, but the 4 goals that you come back to, not taken away from it. But dude, you have to have that dog in you for 90 minutes. And that's been the theme of the entire season. You don't play 90 minutes of football. Atlanta United does not play a full 90 minutes of football. They've done it one time this season. One time, and that was against Nashville a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Tommy, what do you think? I mean, you were at a concert. That's probably for the best. You're at a concert where the match went on.
Yeah.
It's probably for the best. So when you saw that scoreline, 5-0, What was going through your mind? Tell
Well,
us what you were
getting the
thinking.
alerts on my phone.
One after the other.
This app is broken.
Yeah, I know.
It just kept going off, and then I'm like, okay, because like I get the ESPN ones and the MLS ones, so like they're fighting back and forth,
Yeah.
and so they've just kept going, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is the game. This is the game where Ronnie Dyla is fired here, and
Yeah.
I've been saying this for weeks now. There's going to be that game because we've seen a few of those games this year where it's just it looks like they're completely lost. Those back-to-back games where I think they lost 3-0 on the road.
Yeah.
Or earlier in the year, that was one of the moments I was like, okay, this is real bad. Like it can't get any worse. 5-0 here. Let's go back to, I think it was in June, where Atlanta went to Columbus and they were down 3-0, where they looked almost just as
Discombobulated.
Yeah, that's a nice.
I would call it the first half they played all season, and they topped.
Yeah, I mean that was terrible. They literally looked like nothing, like they knew nothing of what was going on in that game, and it continued to this one. But what's worse about this one is you had so much time off to prepare for this match. Columbus had been struggling over the past few weeks going into this game.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, if they score a touchdown here, I am going to. Okay.
All right. Columbus.
So, but like, it's just so. When you look that off after that much time to prepare for this opponent, and you do that, I'm sorry. When I hear Ronnie Dyla talk about that, he's the guy that is the guy that is going to fix things, because he said that in his press conference, and he said that before. And when I hear that, I think, man, he knows it's bad. He knows that when he walks out of this and he goes and he talks to everybody, that front office, he's going to hear about it, because that, I understand that they almost came back and did something special, but that first half was one of the most embarrassing things Atlanta United has ever done.
The most embarrassing thing.
You gotta move on here, because when you go into next season, okay, and things don't get better, they could, all right, but here's just my fan fiction. If you keep him and you go into, because a few people have said throughout this year, like, okay, we'll give him a short leash next season, and if it's still as bad, then we sack him. We're gonna come back to this game, this specific one, and say, we should have known right here that this was it. And I think a lot of people do know.
His goodwill, guys, is completely gone. Whatever goodwill he had was gone, like in the first 30 minutes of the game. Because we were talking about it in the press box, Tyler. You, me, Henry, Doug tweeted it out. Like, that's the performance that cost people their jobs.
It wasn't
that seriously.
Every journalist that was in the press box.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly think if the game had ended 5-0 or 6-0, 7-0, right now we'd be talking about Ronnie Dyla being sacked Sunday morning. We really would. I'm kind of surprised that hasn't happened. Yes, we're sitting here on a Sunday night talking about this match. I'm surprised it hasn't happened. I really am.
Yeah.
Were they waiting for them to be officially knocked out of the playoffs? That's kind of the working theory that I've had. Sorry, Tyler.
No. I mean, you're spot on. I think it's just that, like, you go back to the summer a couple of weeks ago, and Chris Henderson came out and essentially said, and I even think Garth alluded to it before, his public diagnosis.
Yeah.
That Dyla was safe. And I mean, I said the same thing about Pineda that I'll say about Dyla now. Like, I like Dyla. I do. As a person, I think, like, there are things that he's doing that are a benefit in the long term, but long term doesn't matter if you can't scrounge together enough wins to make it even look like the team is being serious. And here was, I was on the way out last night after we did the 3 takeaways. I was talking with Henry, and one of the things that I kind of said was, we throw out the C words, not the really bad ones, but the C words,
It's a family
chemistry,
podcast. Most of
chemistry.
the time.
It's 9:16 at night. I'll throw out whatever words I want to.
Please don't.
But
Keep it
no.
clean, please.
Chemistry, complacency, all those
Yeah.
things. They
Crap.
get thrown out crap, yeah, all the time. And if we're being honest, this you can look at this same kind of culture, C word, habits. It goes back to COVID, and COVID is an excuse. It's a legitimate excuse.
Another C word.
Yes, in this freaking team.
Yeah.
But then you go on, you got 2021 onward, and it's like there's just never been consistency. Another C word.
Yeah.
It hasn't been there, and we've all, especially here on our show and on the website, like we have asked MLS pundits, we've asked international soccer journalists and commentators, like, what the fuck is wrong with Atlanta United? Why can they not figure it out? What is going on with it, with a team that has this much behind them? Why can they not figure it out?
Right.
And nobody has an answer. And I think the interesting thing is, if it really is a sense of complacency, another C word for you, that has settled in, and maybe Pineda was part of that, and there was nobody pushing the envelope. You go back to what Dyla said last night about personnel changes and getting rid of, a lot of the guys that were here throughout the summer and other personnel and the coaching staff, everything else. And Chris Henderson coming out and saying that, they're going to be very active in this winter transfer window. It makes you wonder, how bad was that culture? And
Yeah.
it's that bad, then Dyla coming in and trying to force his guys in and trying to move guys on. This is a very glass half full take or hope, but like maybe that's what you need to get out and root out all the complacency, all the bad chemistry, all the crap that has been here over the past 4.5, 5 years. That's very hopeful. But if you get rid of Dyla now, then maybe you do set the team back even longer, because that sense of complacency that some of these players have stays, because they can get away with what they want, and the coach is going to be the fall guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing. I'm not saying that this is what's happening, but I started thinking about it. Maybe it's a little bit of a conspiracy theory, but it is tough, because you can't go and win 5 games the entire season and expect to have a job in a legitimate soccer organization.
Yeah. LA United's next loss, by the way, guys, will secure their fewest wins in a non-COVID season. Obviously, COVID, they won 6 games. That was a 23-match season. If they lose another game from here on out, which is completely possible, they'll finish 2025 with their fewest wins in a traditional 34-match season. Saturday's loss to the Crew secured or eliminated them from the playoffs, the earliest they've been eliminated in the 34-match season, not counting 2020. So all kinds of history being made for the wrong reasons for Atlanta United. I think you brought up, Tyler, a good point about players like coming in and essentially going through the motions because they don't feel like their jobs are under jeopardy. Dyla did say this, and I'll kind of hit on this real quickly. He did say that we had to move out some players. Some did have an opportunity to grow, which I would assume are players like Efrain Morales. I would assume players like Noah Cobb may be trapped in the development pipeline for Atlanta United. And some didn't want to, which maybe you can read between the lines and think about who he's talking about there, right? So he's at least laid the lumber down and said, you know what, if you don't want to grow, if you don't have a willingness to be better, you're not going to play for me. I mean, I look at 2025 and you can kind of run out a list of players that I don't think any fans would be too upset if they'd be gone. You have 11 players who are out of contract at the end of the season, all but Brad Guzan has an option for 2026. If Ronnie Dyla really means what he says,
Wait, Brad Guzan,
give me
wait,
some.
say that again?
All but out of the players that are out of contract at the end of the season,
Oh,
all
yeah.
but Brad Guzan have a contract
Ariel.
or have a option for
Yeah.
next year or the year following. If Ronnie Dyla really means what he says, he's going to go into the front office that say, look, this player, he can't play for me anymore, period, because he's too complacent. He doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to grow. He doesn't want to develop. And that's going to be all on Dyla because if he comes back, if he is back, that's going to be all on Dyla because he's kind of set the standard. And the players haven't met the standard. I mean, they really haven't. I mean, they've won 5 games. So there you go. The players have to set the standard. But I'll go back to what I said in 3 takeaways. Players, obviously, their job is to perform. Their job is to put the ball in the back of the net. Their job is to defend. Their job is to set the tempo on the pitch. That being said, what they do on the pitch can only go so far, right? For Dyla, it just seems like it's the same thing. It's the same messages over and over again. Like, why isn't it sinking in? Why isn't he getting through to players? And well, some of that is on the players. Some of that is on him. I really do feel that. And has the team tuning out? I don't know. Is his message stale? I don't know. But only his bosses know his status for 2025. Of course, they'll say he is the guy to get them back to the MLS elite. I'm just not convinced at this point, based on what I've seen, based off what I've heard from him in 2025.
I'll say this really quick, and then Tommy, because I know it looks like you were about to say something. It was brought up. I think it was maybe Dallin that mentioned it, and it kind of alluded to something I was going to say. Yeah, he said, let's say we keep Dyla for the start of next year. How many losses do we allow before he's axed?
Has to be asked, right?
100%. I mean,
Yeah.
the rope has to be incredibly short.
Absolutely.
Again, even if my fan fiction / conspiracy theory that I just laid out is true, and I do think there actually is some merit to it. Maybe it's not fully fan fiction.
I feel
But even if it's true, you have to win games. Period. Like, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. All right, clock is right twice a day. I mean, you can't go an entire MLS season and win 5 games. I mean, and that's the thing. Even if you were to go and win a couple more after this, you still won 5 games before you got eliminated from the playoffs. That's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. And yeah, Zilf, having to ask that question is proof he shouldn't be here next year. I mean, yeah, I'm not disagreeing. But the thing is, like, if I'm Chris Henderson, and I'm not, but if I were making the money that Chris Henderson is making and I was in charge, the first, I would say 10 matches of 2026 are absolutely a test.
Yeah.
If and I don't know what, let's say the number is in the first 5, it has to be minimum 4 wins, 4 draws, and a couple of losses. Like, that's minimum. If it's not anything better than that, dude, you got to go and you got to figure out somebody else. And I don't mean like start the search for the search firm. I mean, you need to be like having somebody in the hat ready to pull out and say, all right, you're coming in now.
Yeah.
That's it. It can't be another year without a head coach and another season of mediocrity.
I mean, it's not even been mediocre, Tyler. It's been terrible. Let's not get ourselves.
Absolute dog crap is what it's been.
It really has.
I've been saying it for months. You can't go create a hype train for next season when you're not going to be able to make some significant changes. And maybe these games make it change a little bit here about what they do with the DPs, but I don't think that's very likely. The main person that has to be gone is Ronnie at this point, because if you bring it like when you see this happen and you see maybe a coach get brought into the next year, it's the front office that makes that decision. Then all of a sudden that decision is going to cost other people their jobs here because they're the ones making that decision. And if it goes bad, everyone in the world knew that it was going to go bad because we haven't seen a dominant team here at all. One dominant performance here. I mean, yeah, the Nashville game was great. It was great that it happened, but like it wasn't like
it wasn't
5-0.
No.
Right. It wasn't a 5-0 game here or anything great. We thought that the Montreal game was pretty damn good, but we didn't know how bad Montreal was. And still at that time, we could have lost that game at points.
Yeah.
So I look at all of this and just say they've got to make a change here. And the main difference here is the manager. And you think about the preseason of any sport that you have here. Now, MLS is a little bit different because you're still bringing players in during the preseason because of the window and all of that. But that's where you create a culture. That's where a lot of teams say, like when you watch a team win the Super Bowl, they talk about that it was a lot of the things that they did in the preseason that helped get them to where they were at the end of the year. And you hear teams say that with all different sports. So I think of that and say, this is the time to create that culture here, because if you go and you change your manager in the middle of the season, they always say it's just too late to create it. Now you're just trying to play damage control for the team because you fired your manager in the middle of the year. You're trying to figure things out here. That's not what you need with this team. You need to start from the beginning with a completely new culture and hopefully some other players to come in here and help build that. But if there's not a change by the end of the season, I don't know what you can do to get me very excited about this team next year.
Has to be a really good player that they bring in for 2026 and beyond. I feel like to get fans back in a good way, but get them in a point where, hey, it's worth coming back to this team in 2026. It's worth spending money on tickets to see this team.
But I feel like that even that would be cautious optimism. I mean, you brought in a club legend, and it was great for a little bit. And look, Miguel Almiron still gets the loudest applause of anybody when the starting 11's announced in the bins. Like, he's a legend. That's not going to go away. But like this season, undeniably has put a little bit of a scar on what he did back in the first couple of seasons, if we're being honest. And it sucks. But the only thing that you're going to do that's going to fix next year is go win games. Like, we can sit here and talk up Steven Alzate. We can talk up Enia Mihai. We can talk up Juan Beticall. We can talk up, Afonso. We can talk of everybody that got brought in the summer. It doesn't matter if you're not winning games. Like, it can look better, but looking better ain't going to bring fans back.
Right.
Winning games is going to be what brings fans back. And that's like the one thing that you can hang on to as a fan. If the team starts winning, they're going to come back. Your friends are going to come back. Yeah. But with the way that they're playing right now, it's not going to happen. And we can talk about, like Ronnie mentioned it last night. He's like, these sound like excuses, but they're just answers to the questions. Yes, but they're also excuses because we're 29 games in to the 2025 season. And you kind of mentioned it last night on the 3 takeaways. Nothing's really gotten better. I don't know that we can look at anything. I mean, maybe the midfield to a degree. Slish missing last night was massive.
Yeah.
But the defensive kind of benefits that you get out of Steven Alzate and Mihai with Stian, like last night, that went out the window in the first half. Like, it was bad. Like, these were individual mistakes that cost Atlanta 5 goals in the first 30 minutes. These were not, I mean, formationally, yes, that was part of it. Like, they got out formationed. But these were individual mistakes that, like, you shouldn't be making, period. whatever team you're playing with, you should not be making these mistakes. So it's tough, man. It's tough to sit here and tell any fan, like, hey, come back because it's going to be okay when you have a performance like what we saw last night.
And quickly, let's kind of address the elephant in the room, right? Jaden Hibbert was hung out to dry.
Blame that man. I know you're not going to. Don't blame that man.
He was hung out to dry. Let's be 100%. Honest. I mean, you can't look at Jaden Hibbert and say he was bad in goal. I mean, 5 goals conceded doesn't look bad on your team, obviously, but I have ventured to say one of those goals marginally could be put on Jaden Hibbert. The rest, he was just hung out to dry. His defense in front of him wasn't cutting it. At one point, he and Elzati were kind of going at it. I think it was after the 3rd goal, Tyler, correct me if I'm wrong, but Hernandez had to kind of step in there because they're just.
It was the 3rd and 4th goal.
Yeah, I mean, the frustration was evident on the pitch between the players. I mean, they're arguing with each other. They were, just it was just bad. And but going back to my original point here, you can't pin this on Jaden Hibbert. And I would hope that this doesn't hurt his confidence if he does in fact become Atlanta's #1 keeper. It's an aberration. I would venture this.
It's 1 loss versus Columbus back in 2023.
Yeah.
It's that same situation. Like it should that this game should not have played out the way that it did. And your defense failed you in the worst way.
No,
which is what you spent your entire transfer window to focus on.
Yeah.
And what I've been saying for weeks is all you need to do is show me that you cannot make silly mistakes, allow a ton of goals in a game. And I felt so rejuvenated after that Nashville game saying, okay, they're doing the thing. Can they continue doing the thing after this break where you got some time to prepare for Columbus and 5 goals?
And history will tell you every single freaking time, man, momentum and then international break. And then it's a freaking dumpster fire every single time. I get the thing that bothers me the most about this season is my family. Yeah, I know, right? Look, I can double the amount of wins. The problem that I can pick out. My family has been able to go to so many games because at the end of the day, man, we're fans of this team. Like we cover the team, but at the end of the day, like that's what we are. We're fans of the team. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't like the team. Period. So when my family gets to go, I want them to see wins. I want them to see fun soccer. The second half, cool. Like you still pulled something out and at least made it a game. You made it exciting. But I almost feel guilty for my own family.
Yeah.
When they go and spend our hard-earned money, even though ticket prices have dropped dramatically, to go see this team play the way that you saw for most of the match last night, for at least the first half and most of this 2025 season. It pisses me off, man. And so like when I see the stands as empty as they are and the comments on social media, like I get it. Because I am one of you. I get so freaking pissed off that, my kids who love this team and love the game come out to watch this. And that is what you put out on the pitch.
Yeah.
It's abysmal. It's pathetic. And it's been almost 5 years now of the same thing. It's got to be fixed, and it has to be fixed ASAP, or you're going to end up going down the same road as the Atlanta Falcons.
Hey, we're winning 6 right now. We just got an interception. Don't you throw the Falcons into this.
Yeah.
By the way, $6. I looked it up like right before game time on Ticketmaster. I was just curious. I saw a ticket up there for $6.
That's insane. That's where we are, guys.
That's how far we've fallen.
That's where we are.
But you know what? Real quick, Cindy, I know you say something. One of the things that part of Atlanta United's culture isn't the team, it's the fans.
Yeah.
It really is. And to add what Tyler said is that you create that culture by getting the fans in the building, getting them to cheer, getting them to pregame before, already start that atmosphere that when you walk into Mercedes-Benz Stadium and those players, because how many times do we hear in those first few years, like new players coming into the league that went to Mercedes-Benz for the first time, we're like, holy shit, like that place is insane. The place is shaking. It's one of the loudest stadiums around. And now it's quiet and you got fans walking out in the 35th minute.
That's embarrassing. That's probably the most embarrassing thing about the match was Apple TV was showing fans walking out, like Tommy, you said, in the 35th minute. So again, that's where we are with Atlanta United at this point. Few housekeeping notes. Want to just call out just super quick. Scarves@Specs.com is where you can find our Atlanta United coverage, win, lose, or draw. I mean, it's been more lose than winning. Let's be honest with ourselves. But yeah, our coverage is there. Go check out our match recaps, our previews, our Tyler's first reaction after every match. All of that stuff is on scarves@specs.com. There's also a link to our store. Purchase Scarves and Specs merchandise, hats, t-shirts, mugs. Fall is coming, so weather's going to start getting colder, a little bit cooler. So we have hoodies up there. We have mugs. We have all kinds of merchandise available for you to purchase at our store. There's a link at scarves@specs.com. Support us on Patreon. Support our coverage. I'm sorry, at $1.70 a month. Patreon.com/scarves and spikes. All 3 tiers get you access to our Discord where you can chat with other Atlanta United fans about Atlanta United, about the Falcons, pretty much about anything. Other than Atlanta United, if you want to get your mind off of them. Again, patreon.com/scarves and spikes if you want access to that. We are on social media, Scarves, the letter N, Spikes on Twitter, scarvesandspikes.com on X, Scarves and Spikes everywhere else, including Instagram, Threads, and Facebook. We are also giving away FC26. We have FC26 giveaway going on right now. There's a pinned profile pic on our Instagram channel at Scarves and Spikes on Instagram, as well as our X account, Scarves, the letter N, Spikes. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeart, we do this live every Sunday night. We have our MLS podcast live every Monday night, our midweek podcast live every Wednesday night, and other content throughout the week. Like, subscribe, share our content on YouTube, and become the first to know when we produce new content. And again, subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeart. Leave a review of our podcast. Let us know how we're doing. We really do appreciate your feedback. Tommy, who was the best player? I hate to ask this, but who was the best player? Tyler, I'll ask you this too. I guess who's the best player for Atlanta United? I mean, it's silly to ask, but guess who earned their paycheck on Saturday?
Fans.
Yeah, the fans
that showed up.
Yeah. They should get a refund.
The fans that stayed for 90 minutes.
Right. Credit to the fans that stayed for 90 minutes, by the way, Tommy. That's a good point.
I did see a picture in the Discord. I couldn't tell if it was AI generated or not, but I saw someone with a paper bag over their head. It didn't say Scarves and Spikes City. I know you told people to do that, but they didn't do it. But I saw today. I was watching football, and there was a Browns fan in Baltimore wearing the paper bag over their head. They kept going to him. Like, this is going to continue to grow, unfortunately, as this season ends, because it's just so embarrassing. With that, but I didn't watch enough. I didn't watch the second half, to be honest with you. I watched I got home today from my trip and just watched the first half just to see how bad it really was. And boy,
it was pretty bad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I would be so angry. Like, if I flew out there for this game and went to that, like, I would just be like, I should have just lit money on fire.
Yeah.
That would have been more satisfying to watch.
Right.
I agree with what Omar and Brett said. I mean, I think the only one that you could really point to and say they were, and he did win the Golden Spike, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Jamal Tiare, I'll give you a quick thing. Going back to the twos match this past weekend versus Belize. Jamal Tiare, and I don't know what the rest of the team was doing. Obviously, so a lot of them were on international break, but I don't know what their individual training regimens look like.
Yeah.
But we were there on a Saturday. The one first team player that I saw out there training, mostly running, was Jamal Tiare. So big shout out to him.
Awesome.
And he went out last night and again laid his body on the line.
Yeah, he did.
For a full 90.
Yeah.
And
he got knocked up a little bit.
He got the crap beat out of him.
Yeah.
He was limping, and I honestly think the limping might have just been from the amount of running that he did. He was pressing a lot in the first half, and it created some early opportunities, and then it all just kind of fell apart because Columbus played through the press. But after that, I mean, he gets a brace in the second half.
Yeah.
He could have had a hat trick overall. Jamal is the one who stood out in the best way last night for sure.
No, absolutely. And shout out to Pedro Amador scoring his first MLS goal as well. Too. I think it's the first MLS goal. I mean,
it is. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, credit to him. Also good to see Cooper Sanchez making his MLS debut. He, of course, played against Atlas in Leagues Cup, but good to see him getting his MLS debut out there in garbage time, obviously.
Good. Like Cooper Sanchez looked really good, which is no surprise for people covering the twos, and like we talk about the twos a lot. Like we've been mentioning, if you've watched us for any amount of time, we've heard the name Cooper Sanchez.
Yeah.
The ball that he played over the top to somebody, it might have been Miggy. I mean, it was a big switch across the top, and I mean, it literally could have been on somebody's belt buckle.
Yeah.
That was from a kid who came on and looked again hungry, looked ready to go, and was like, hey, man, this is my chance. I don't care if we're losing 5-0. At that time, they weren't, but whatever. I don't care if we're getting the crap beat out of us. I'm going to show everybody what I'm about. And I feel like Cooper did that. I thought he did a really good job.
Yeah, and you mentioned the young players. Again, it's garbage time. But yeah, like you said, good to see him at least put out for the amount of time that he was on the pitch. I mean, it's tough when you come into a situation like that. But you want to see that from young players, right? From players like Sanchez, from players like, Dom Chong-Ki, Matt Edwards is injured, of course, from Jay Fortune, who's obviously been there some time, from Luke Brennan. You want to see them take their chances when they're granted, because you don't know how many chances a player that at that age is going to get when you're on the pitch. So when you get those opportunities, you really have to take them. And I think for the most part, Cooper did that. Obviously at 17, right? Still a lot of growth to do physically and mentally and tactically. But yeah, again, good to see him get his MLS debut and his second overall appearance with Atlanta United. Guess what else do you guys want to talk about? I mean, I feel like
I was just looking up, because this particular episode of our podcast started because we would go on with our nifty whiteboards and do our player ratings video. I don't know that I've ever seen a more freaked up set of player ratings on FOTMOB in the entire time that we've been doing this.
I'm not going to look because I still have my player ratings article to do at some point in the next few days. So I'm not going to.
Many. I will say, Cooper Sanchez came on and got absolutely shafted by FOTMOB with a 6.2. Again, this is why I talk about the eye test all the time.
Yeah.
Just again, I'm not going to mess up your article and everything that we have going on SkyVersusSpikes.com, but who got the lowest grade?
It's probably Hibbert. I mean, behind the 5 goals, which would be unfair, but who is it? Who got the lowest?
It is not. It is not Hibbert.
Was it Mihai?
It is Mihai.
Because of the defensive mistakes he made.
Mihai got a 4.5.
Yeah, I mean,
and this is on FOTMOB. Ronald Hernandez got a 4.6, and Jaden Hibbert again, shafted, got a 4.8.
It's harsh because again, like how many goals can you put on Jaden when he was just absolutely granted no favors by his defense at all.
Yeah.
So I feel like he was a bit hard done by those ratings, but I mean I don't think outside of Jamal, outside of maybe Meggy, he scores the goal from the spot. Outside of Amador, maybe outside of Sanchez, I don't think really anyone covered themselves in glory, and it's a shame. Like we would have to be talking about Atlanta going down 5-0 in the first half of a match where they had to win outright to have any chance of staying alive, keeping your already then playoff hopes alive. Naturally, NYCFC wins against the Fire, so if Atlanta United had won, they'd still be in playoff contention, although they'd still have it all to do over the next 5 matches or remaining 5 matches. But it's done. It's over. They're not going. And I feel like there's no sense in prolonging the inevitable. And, it's where we are right now. And it's really sad. And I really hope that, guys, as long as we have a platform, as long as we're doing this podcast, we never have to talk about anything like this happening again. Because this team, the foundation it was built on, the aspirations it has, can't, they just haven't met them in the past few years. And again, I just hope that we never have this situation where we're talking about Atlanta United not making the playoffs. It just can't happen. Like if you're looking to, again, become one of the biggest clubs in North America, in the hemisphere, which I feel like
You
that ship
were,
sailed.
though. You were.
You're not anymore.
You were for 3-ish
3 years. Now you're not.
You were the poster child for MLS. Anytime they would show previews on ESPN back when MLS was in the real world, you were able to. They showed all the tifos. They showed the 70,000 people there,
Yeah.
and now it's someone asked us in one of our MLS podcasting, like, where are all the fans in Atlanta? It's like, have you been watching the games? And you talk about this not happening again. You got San Diego coming to town next week. And they've been scoring a ton. And
club.
And then you've got LAFC. You've got Miami. I mean, you're going to have a Miami that all of a sudden is. I mean, we thought that maybe they were a team that like maybe could just coast into the playoffs. I mean,
at least they're in the playoff position
here. But I mean, I think they might be going into that game wanting to score a lot of goals.
At least they're in playoff position at this point.
Spitting.
Which is more I could say with.
They're really fighting at the chomp to get into the playoffs. I'm running out of Suarez jokes. But yeah, I mean, look, I ask you both this question in all honesty. Do you think there's an announcement tomorrow?
I say there's a very good chance.
Do I think there is one, or there should be?
I mean, you could say both, because my answer is yes to both. I think that now is the time, because we know how this, and it's not Atlanta United. It's not specific to Atlanta United. I'm not going to get deep into this. I know we got to go, but like the Falcons have done this, and Atlanta United do this, where they go and they look for a firm to help find the new coach, which takes an extended period. It's September 14th today. Atlanta United's season is over in just about a month. October 18th is the last day of the season. You need to be on it, because if there's coaches that could become available for whatever reason, you need to be on that. Not just in we're looking for someone to help us find someone. You need to be ready at that exact moment. You need to start being ready tomorrow to start getting out there and getting your name out there to coaches and why they should be coming here. If I said this a month ago, if they wait till the end of the year to fire him, that is a huge mishandling from the front office.
Wouldn't surprise me to see an announcement made on Monday. It really wouldn't. And I was kind of prepared to see one on Sunday. I really was.
I mean, we were joking around last night. We were like, man, we've been sitting in the press conference room for a
20
minute.
minutes. Yeah.
And
Was it that long?
It was a minute. Yeah, it was definitely longer than normal for sure.
Yeah.
But still, was it praise? Because I just wonder, like, I wonder how that goes, because you almost came back. You almost did it. You almost had the tying goal there. So I wonder, like, because obviously you go into half and everyone's angry. You still lose the game, but you almost did it. So I wonder what that conversation was like.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that we're not going to be privy to, right? Because and that's why I wrote it in the article.
We might be, though. We might be in a future video.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
We'll see.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. I put it in the article last night. Like the 4 goals that you were able to scrounge up to come back almost. That it's cool. But 4 goals should win you a soccer game every day of the week. Also, that can't erase the fact that you literally, and I'm literally quoting what I said last night, you got dog walked in your own building.
Yeah.
For 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And you went into the half down 5-1, and the 1 was only because of a admittedly very soft penalty that was given to Jamal Tiare. That's not okay. Like, there was literally conversations going on in the press box last night amongst journalists saying, man, this is the kind of result that gets coaches fired, especially when you add on the fact that the season has been the way that the season has been. But yeah, I mean, would it surprise me? Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Is it going to happen? Don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm prepared for anything. I really am. I'm prepared for anything. What else? I feel like we've kind of said all we. I feel like we said all we need to say about this match. It's
I don't know, man.
With Atlanta eliminated from
on it, like, not that now's the right time, but I feel like there's so much more because I feel like this is such a freaking crap show of a game.
Yeah.
I don't even think we've mentioned it yet, but historically, this was a record-breaking game in the worst way possible. This is the most goals scored in a soccer game in the history of Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yeah.
By far. That's, and unfortunately Atlanta was on the wrong end of it. But shout out to Johannes Schneider for the confirmation. I went to ask him around the 60th minute last night, and I was like, hey man, we're getting close, right? Because we had the 7-0 touchdown game versus New England back in 2017, but like we were past that at that point. But no, I mean, Chris Henderson is at a crossroads at this point. You can't go into next season and continue with the same song and dance that we've had this year. You can't do it. And if you do, the gauntlet has to come down like super quick, because you can't waste another season. You cannot waste another season, or there will not be many people inside that stadium by the end of 2026. If you do keep Ronnie Dalla, and I hope you figure it out. I hope your coaching staff figures it out, and I hope you come out on fire.
Yeah.
But whoever is in charge of Atlanta United come January 2026, I hope that person figures it out and they're on fire, because what you've had over the past couple of years has been absolute garbage. It's been unacceptable. It's been at best mediocre, and at worst it has been a dumpster fire. Embarrassing, humiliating, pathetic. So yeah, I mean, Chris Henderson, it has to be figured out. We can go back to the culture. We can blame the players. Yes, some of those players have got to go. But a coach has to figure out how to win games with the staff that they have on them right now.
Sure.
And Rob Valentino proved that. He had guys that probably were checked out, and he was able to get it turned around and get things going in the right direction. It's not always black and white. It's not always that there are players and they're just not doing what I want them to do. it is a matter of finding motivation and being not a soccer manager, but in a lot of ways, a human psychologist, and figuring out what motivates these players to get them to do what I need them to do, which is win games. And Rob Valentino did a pretty good job of that last year for the final few matches.
For a roster that was nowhere even close to what this
exactly.
Yeah.
So if Ronnie Dalla is still the manager in 2026, and I'm whatever either way. If he is, though, that leash has to be super short.
Uh,
I think it will be.
Period.
I think it will be.
And I hope he has.
You're not.
He has that moment.
I'm just saying right now, there's no chance. I don't know. I don't even know what I could put on the line here, but there's no chance Ronnie makes it to next season. There's absolutely none.
You think he's gone for sure?
I think it's 100%.
You think he's gone for sure?
You just can't. There's just no way that you can tell this fan base that after this season, this performance at home against a team that I know is good, but has not been very good, where you had weeks to prepare for, and you do that. I'm sorry. I don't care if it's the play. If it obviously a lot of it is on the players, but you are absolutely unprepared for this game. He cannot make it into next season. I'm going to be very disappointed if he is still the manager by 8:00 tomorrow night. And again, I just want to keep saying it. Like, I don't like to see people fired, but there's a time and a place for a franchise to make a change.
Yep.
And we know that. We've seen it so many times before. This is the moment. This is the exact moment that as soon as it's 5-0, I said to Tina, I go, it's over. He's gone. And I texted you guys immediately afterwards.
Yeah. You got one more thing you had to say.
I have one more thing that I've got to say. And so Brett asked, did the formation change coming out of the half make that big of a difference, or was it just game state with Columbus up by so much? This is a conversation we had a lot, actually, at the end of the game last night. Me, you, and Henry mostly. I genuinely feel like had you still had Diego Rossi, I mean, first of all, the fact that Wilfred Nancy pulled Diego Rossi off as early as he did
with a hat trick,
freaking slap in the face.
He's like, he's done. You've done all you need to do.
But that's the thing. You know how disrespectful that is? Like, you, again, went into somebody else's house, dog walked them, and were like, oh, cool, my day's done. I got a hat trick. I'm out. I get an early break. That is freaking pathetic. That you're Atlanta United, you're on the bad end of that. That's crap. It's 100% game state. 100%. Like, I mean, the formation is a part of it. Like, yes, you come out of the half, you switch to a back three. That did make a big difference.
All right.
I think had they stayed with the back four with the two center backs, then Atlanta would not have scored the goals that they scored. Now, they might not have got dunked on the way they did, but yay, doggy on the film. This is what we need to calm people down. But no, I think that the formation did give some benefits, right? Like the back three, which we've talked about a lot. Maybe Atlanta plays better in the back three. That's a conversation for another day. But ultimately, you switched to a back three after you conceded 5 goals.
Why did it take that?
Yeah,
switch to the back three. I guess
said that on the 3 takeaways. Like, it shouldn't in a game like this where you had 2 weeks to prepare, and you come out and you realize, oh, this is not working. It should not be halftime before you start making changes. I understand traditionally you don't make changes till halftime unless something really bad happens.
Yeah,
I don't give a crap. Change your back formation, your defense, to stop giving up stupid goals. If that means you got to switch to a back three and make it happen. But at the end of the day, Columbus made wholesale changes to their lineup. And you were able to they literally took out Diego Rossi and put on a kid who has had minimal time playing in Major League Soccer.
Picard. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, cool. Well, that's disrespectful. And Atlanta was like, all right, well, let's make the changes and go forward and try to score some goals. And they did that, but you did that against Columbus's half B team at that point. So yes, game state is absolutely a factor. It's not like you made changes and the chess pieces were moved to where you just out coached Wilfred Nancy in the second half. That's not what happened. And I can't emphasize that enough. You didn't out coach Wilfred Nancy. Wilfred Nancy tried to give some of his guys rest and maybe pulled the trigger a little too early. And you were able to almost get back in it.
Yeah.
So no, it's not apples and apples here. It is apples and oranges 100%. You made changes. Yes, that they were the right changes, but they were too little, too late. You were down too far at that point. And you can't look at those 4 goals as being straight up 4 goals that you scored against Columbus Crew. You scored them against half of Columbus Crew's second team.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was my final point. Because it is a factor. It's 100% a factor.
Yeah. Tommy, you have anything else you want to?
I'm gonna go watch
the Falcons are due.
part ways with.
Just hit the music.
It's been a rough weekend.
Y'all come back for MLS Monday tomorrow, please.
Unless other breaking news happens.
Yeah.
We'll be prepared. We'll let you know. Oh, Tyler, where are you in social media? I forget that.
Interception!
ATL
Go! All right. Sorry.
I'm at SH Wrights, X, Blue Sky, 37 Soccer, and Instagram Threads. Tommy, where are you?
Suck it, JJ McCarthy.
At
What's your social media?
Tommy.
Tommy ATL.